Day is done and dusted.
Let's let me look earlier. Sorry.
One day I'll be able to get it through an intro with y'all.
I should get that.
One day. But all right, if y'all are done licking your lips, putting on the chapstick, we have another series to introduce.
This game's gonna be tasty. This game's gonna be tasty.
What? Stop. He's a fish out.
All right,
Sierra, take control.
Y'all, mute both of the mics right now. Mute both of the mics right now. Brandon, please and thank you. We got Fluffy Aimers going up against Winthrop University, next series of the day. And one that we got to be talking about when we're looking at how these lineups have changed a little bit since we've last seen them in the mid-season cup there, Lemon. That's Silence, who was popping off, rightfully getting picked up and starting.
Yes, he has left the Turtle Troop to join a collegiate troop instead. Screwface still doesn't have a picture, by the way, but they're working on that. Yeah, Silence was the controller. Ali no longer on this roster, but Silence really impressed us, especially with how far Turtle Troop went in the midseason cup.
Yeah, they're trying to find a picture for Screwface because all of his pictures currently are him shirtless, right? So they're trying to find a little bit of a better one.
Photoshop, right?
He always trains shirtless. He's kind of like Shanks pretty much at this point.
Oh, okay.
But on a more serious factor, definitely, I think Silence filled some big shoes with Weeded. You know, Weeded was gone on vacation during the MSC, and then he had to replace him and did such a great job, an incredible job in the roster actually for TTR, which allowed for the team to make it even to the grand finals, where you saw a team that was a little bit more laxy-days and, you know, some passive calling or just feeling the vibes, and they're just making it work. And I think now Winthrop University realizes that, and they can bring this in over to the roster in itself. But what I love, though, at least, it's also Screwface potentially even being the IGL for this team. Remember when he was going back and forth with Thinking Man? It was already like very difficult for them to, or for him to find like a good spot as an IGL for the team, because it was already in a system that already worked, right? But now you have an opportunity to like almost rebuild with Silence in the roster, with a brand new roster that trusts your leadership and your experience as well as an IGL. And I think this is going to be a much stronger Winthrop University going into stage 2. I think even despite losing Ali, because I was on a high horse about Ali as well. I love Ali as a smokes player, and I love him as a player too. He's put such a good impact into Northwood University, back into the collegiate scene, so that if Silence is actually replacing him at this point, then for me it shows for Winthrop that Silence brings a lot of value to the team, and that they have an opportunity to make wonders in stage 2.
I mean, even looking back at the Turtle Troop run through the mid-season cup, I mean, having to place Weeded of all individuals, that definitely, you got a lot of work cut out for you there. And especially when there is everything on the line, the single elimination, and Silence just fitting really well into the team and having to fit into an already existing mold. So this, I think, is really exciting coming out from Winthrop, that this team can kind of build up together, starting with this week on, and build something that's going to be successful for all the players across the board here, Lemon.
Just Winthrop also just getting over the carousel of coaches. They can now have some help in terms of, you know, balancing classes and not having to VOD reviews. So it's like you saw the importance of the back room even in our last series, and just the addition now of Silence, which is going to hopefully bring them a level of consistency. I'm still looking at Nasi and also Moobs on the Breach and the Fade, where, speaking of Moobs, he also in an interview a while back said that they believe that they can beat anyone. And that's the type of confidence I love to see in a team, especially one that is still looking to grow.
Yeah. And sorry, just to add on to that too, I think Moobs also leaves behind like a gap that's well filled too, because Moobs unfortunately has stepped away. I think he was going to just finish university at this point, right? So there's been some roster changes going through, which is why I would probably see, you know, Screwface coming in as well. But overall, nothing changes into what he stated in that place, right? So now that you have that system behind as well, with that coaching that you were talking about, I think it looks to be a very strong roster going to this game.
I mean, you're talking about teams that believe they can beat anyone, and I don't know if we have on record that Fluffy Amers has quite so said that, but looking at this squad and looking at the performance that they put up in the mid-season cup, it's definitely something I would believe coming out of the team. And we have to talk about some of the more experienced members on the squad here, Vance, and I want to first talk about Mame, because Mame is someone who we got to see in Challengers last year, and, you know, just did the best into the stock market, bringing the songs over here, and someone that has definitely been proving his worth to the squad.
Especially that, right? I think not only is he able to put up a strong performance in Challengers, but also a strong performance overall ever since he started playing Valorant back with the original roster of Together We Are Terrific, where, you know, the famed Finesse IGL for that team. They became Envy at some point. But now he, you know, you're looking at these timeouts when the cameras are on. He's a much more vocal player. He was also a player that always wanted to play a Jet in the past and just op all around. But you're noticing, like, through all of these histories that he's currently playing with Fluffy Aimers, that he's playing more of like a support role, going into like Cypher roles or smoke roles, still opting though within these roles and still putting great impact in the on these roles as well. So I think his value has shifted to a point where, you know, he brings veterancy and he gives a chance now for younger fraggers like, for example, Bones or Jonah in this roster to just carry the team, while he brings the, you know, the mid-round calling or the wisdom or, you know, some coaching to help out these young fraggers to be able to win these rounds.
Yeah, and this is a rematch of that mid-season cup first round that was off the mainstream, and this went the way of Fluffy Aimers 2-0, but one person who really stood out for Fluffy Aimers was Mame. Dropped 25 kills on Sunset, was a really good anchor on Lotus, continuing with the Omens. So I'm looking forward to see how Mame shines today, especially after that small break.
I love that you called back to the match that they got to play in the mid-season cup, and that 2-0 that Fluffy Universe was able to get there. But I'm intrigued then with the changes coming out on Winthrop's end as well. The second match in the series was actually pretty close, and now they have the tape on each other with exactly how this rematch is going to be going down, especially with their map picks and bans ahead of this series. I feel like when we have a rematch, especially a pretty recent rematch, that's always my biggest question in Vans. We are going right for the salty run back, let me tell you.
All right, so same run back, different agent or different players this time around. We'll have to see what different players are they going to have different rules at this point. But when you only had like a 2-week change and you have to bring some players in, and Screwface trying to figure out his IGL role at this point, will this actually stick together? Maybe not on Sunset, right? Remember, you've mentioned it as well, Lemon Kiwi. This is also a Viper nerf into the patch, and we're seeing a lot less Vipers on a map like Sunset or any other maps where Viper was so prominent in the past. There's only really Breeze and Icebox where you see still Viper as like a mainstay going to these agent picks.
If you're a Winthrop University fan, close your eyes. It was 13-3 on Lotus for Fluffy Aimers last time.
So they probably changed some comps.
Yeah, the Fade Breach, which what Fluffy Aimers were running, but the Viper that you pointed out, Screwface, that was his thing. Are we going to get away from that? Is there going to be an alternate controller? Or do you just stick to what you know and adjust if you take another L? But Viper was already something Fluffy Aimers wasn't playing, so they're not worried.
I mean, when I'm looking at the changes that Winthrop University have with their squad heading into this week and just stage 2 in general, considering that they're both known quantities and they have that experience around them, even though we don't really know yet quite how the teams are going to be meshing here, Lemon, there's definitely not like we haven't necessarily seen Screwface before, we haven't seen Silence before. So I'm excited by this coming together of the team. I do think Lotus will be tough, but looking ahead at that Sunset, if they can get through that, considering it was pretty close last time, Ascent, it's a really good map for teams that are kind of still finding that synergy. So it could be a really good series if we just forget about that Lotus.
Yeah, Winthrop just have to change their comp on that. It might have just been a comp diff where you had a Killjoy instead of a Cypher, so it's not bad. It's just less flexible, right, than a Cypher. You had a solo initiator Gecko where a lot of people pair a Breach or a K or something so that the Dizzy doesn't get shot instantly and it has something. So I'm wondering if Winthrop, I hopefully am hoping that they change their comp from that moment.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to Winthrop on a map like Lotus, I think even Screwface used Viper on that map too, where I think Lotus could still be usable, though, at that point, because you don't really see too much going out from like an orb perspective when you're trying to take map control as a lurk. So we'll have to see how that's going to pan out once we get into the Agent Select.
All right, well, with expectations of maybe a changed comp going into this, it's time for our Agent Select on our first map of the series, Lotus. So I'll catch up with you two later, kids.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye, Mom.
Wait, why are you calling me a kid?
Yeah, you're the one literally with kids. Okay, comp change. Cypher, no more Killjoy, and the fades on both sides. This was something that Winthrop didn't opt for. They went for Gecko solo initiator, as I said, but it's going to be a breach fade.
Yeah, the breach, I mean, that's the other thing, too. The changes that are coming as well. You're starting to see a lot more breach coming through into these changes since the patches, since starting to see that there's less value of a Viper slicing out a map. So, before back then when you're playing a double controller, a Sky was so good, especially with the refreshable flashes, to try to fight behind the walls. But that this time, at least, that the walls are not as prominent anymore. It allows for this breach to add a little bit more value into these pops now, especially with the fault line. It meshes well with this raise, so I'm loving here that we're seeing a mirror matchup between these two teams.
And how's that going to go against Jerk that's now pivoted from the Killjoy to the Cypher? Because I'm going to show some bias here. Jonah's like my top one favorite Cypher in Challengers, like just the most dependable guy when it comes to solo defending a site. And this is really important on a 3-site map like Lotus, and probably why, he also top fragged on this map previously, dropping 19 kills. So, and when you have to solo hold a site and you could still get a positive KDA, like that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to continue that over once we see Fluffy Aimers here on the defensive side. But yeah, to start things off, that responsibility is going to have to be on Jerk playing as a Cypher, where you have that trip for info towards middle. This is a great way to run things when you don't have that Killjoy. The camera's going to be watching for some sort of a potential trap play towards the front, because they're looking to fight behind the mound here for Winthrop University. The fault line's already procced up by Nasi. A camera is going to allow for you to go for a flash pick off the fault line from a camera or from the orb tap. But it seems like Fluffy Aimer has a read around that. They started making noise at the beginning towards the C side, pivot back towards A, and trying to find out where they could take this map control. Screwface forced to jump spot to try to find some players here towards the A side, but he doesn't want to jump a second time.
And Screwface opted to buy more util to just stick with the classic. Neptune has the Ghost, so giving Winthrop more options to get information. Fluffy Aimers use the Prowler there to get through tree. Now they still have a haunt available if they want to check the top of site, but for now, things seem nice, calm, and quiet for Fluffy Aimers to get a plant down.
Yeah, 3 goes 2 on the pulse plant. There's still a lot of util for pancakes for the pulse plant. And you talked about the util on the defensive side. This is going to be a flood retake that's going to be very, very suppressing against Fluffy Aimers.
Pancakes is already fault lined, so Fluffy Aimers trying to cut them down before they get set up, whilst Pancakes, now that they're on the site, he could just play on the other side of this half wall. And Fluffy Aimers kind of just taking this step by step. There's still a problem, and his name is Infiltrator for a reason, but Bones turns him to ashes, and it's up to Jerk in a 1 versus 3 with the spike about to go off. So just building up towards a Neuro Theft is always nice. Hitting any shot is always nice, but Fluffy Aimers will take pistol.
Beautiful by Neptune with the Ghost to try to hold the angle. I think even most important is Mame. The way that you choose to smoke here is not to try to smoke out towards the ropes or the rappel, to give a chance here for Winthrop University to use more util and to flood through your own smoke. So he uses it as a one-way instead, which then allows 3 players to get ready to swing from staircase and default to fight back into any way, because that first and only wave of util was already being used out by Winthrop University. So it comes down to the TDM in the end that worked out in the favor of the attack side. And a good buy now this second round. You heard the haunt being thrown in the beginning with a one-way smoke. Already Screwface is moving forward with the classic, is just trying to get a one and done, but he's going to get punished.
Oh, yeah. Got blinded there too. Clear rubble. And yeah, Jonah, that guy, shutting down the flank. So Fluffy Aimers, the boxes have all been ticked. And there's somebody on the site to worry about, though. It is Jerk, who got some info off the camera, but Winthrop have just been sliced down to nothing. But it was a buy advantage for Fluffy Aimers with the anti-eco.
Yeah, there was slight purchases being done there by Winthrop. You saw, I think there was a couple of shares that came across too, so they have to have small shields for a couple of these players, and that's being silenced in Screwface. And you're currently seeing as well, based on, those agent changes that you said that came through here, Jerk having to play towards the Cypher, Elise Silence is just fully setting into what we did used to play for Turtle Troop, which is a smoke character player, and then also now filling in the shoes of Ali that had a short stint playing for Winthrop during the MSC. So now you have this permanent role of Silence where, you know, he used to play a bit of Chamber in the past and putting great value into that because he could shoot.
Oh, wait. Neptune managed to dodge that. It's a little bit off on that, shooting down the Prowler. Neptune is like, someone please come pick me up. Sierra, get in there. Get the van. So Fluffy Hammers. I guess Neptune is just going to be stuck here, at least with the smoke. He may be allowed to cross, and not even just cross. He's going to challenge and get one for the road, too. So Fluffy Hammers.
They won't expect the second one.
Yeah, of course. Even they have B site also planted, so Winthrop are like, okay, never mind Sands. Let's worry about this. Great pick out of Jerk. And Winthrop have control of B. Here's the re-entry from Fluffy Hammers with the breach util from Pancakes. And allowed Mummy to get a ghost kill, maybe a gun upgrade. Never mind. Infiltrator just has to protect Jerk on the defuse. Jonah is just spraying a little too high. And it doesn't matter. Winthrop get the round.
Oh, you're just hoping that Jonah had the timing there to get the backstab of the one opening the door. That maybe would have given a chance for Winthrop University to actually make it through and do the double backstab. But if anything, there was a slight mistake on the post plant there from Fluffy Hammers. Somebody should have shut out that haunt that was thrown towards Baby Door when Screwface threw that, because that gave 2 easy kills for Infiltrator into that round, and it could have been very costly. You talked about it, how Neptune was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place towards Long C, but did an excellent job to open up the B site for his teammates to plant. Now, change of pace, aggression towards A site, haunt with information, but first blood for Winthrop.
And this didn't work out well for Winthrop last time. Fluffy Hammers won the A lobby control. It was a different buy, a different round, but losing Bones is pretty tough. Neptune at 9 HP. Yikes. That's my analysis.
I like that. But yeah, it definitely worked out here in the favor of Winthrop University, despite all of that information that was grabbed out by Fluffy Hammers. Again, it comes down to those duels in the end when you've been snuffed out. Makes it a little bit more difficult now for Fluffy Hammers to get a little bit of map control, especially as you talked about the 9 HP for Neptune, maybe trying to get orbs, trying to get something to move forward here to leverage maybe an ult where you're at a disadvantage. But instead, it's more of a default play. The camera was set up all the way in the beginning here from Jonah, realizing that nobody was really pushing out. So it gives an opportunity here for Fluffy Hammers to just walk in once again, just like the previous round, and go for a plant.
A plant ensues, as you wanted. Winthrop, once the smoke goes down top site, will be up to Neptune. It's 9 HP, better be worth something. And should be worth some intel. At the very least, Winthrop have a 2-3 split. Prowler leads the way for Screwface. Not finding much. There's a smoke right on site that is shielding Fluffy Hammers, and they emerge. And Infiltrator mechanically is just better even when he's surprised. Jerk picks up 2, and Winthrop, another successful retake.
Love the attempt of adding an extra smoke inside the site so that players don't really have to play all the way outside. You're playing around a bubble that could actually hide from a couple of flashes that are being thrown from Waterfall if Winthrop tries to do for a flood retake. But again, unfortunately, it's the lack of HP, the lack of players, the lack of bodies from Fluffy Hammers on the post plant that didn't allow for them to convert a little bit more. And it almost worked out there. There was a beautiful fault line that came out so that Neptune could try to get the kill, but all it takes is one flick and a body shot while you're stunned to not allow here Fluffy Hammers to get a good post plant situation. And you can see it. An outlaw out in the hands of Jerk at the beginning of this round. Half by, no contact.
Oh my god. Oh, we're still peeking. Oh, wait! Silencing on Sands, and Mama just couldn't reload or get his gun out, and he gets away with 3. Neptune still in the come pick me up spot, and we'll get a body shot in, and Silence just solo dominates C. That's so insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you put a lot of stocks into Silence. That one tap onto Bones was sick. Even if it was against the Stinger, a half buy, I mean, there's a lot of ruckus that's been created. There's a lot of misplays that was also done there by Fluffy Aimers to not really clear out Mound effectively, because everybody was so focused on trying to take down Jerk in the first place. And that's great understanding here from Silence, understanding that he could overpower and overtake his opponents with the timing and get a beautiful 4K in the end. Fault line at the beginning of this round potentially, so they could pressure here on a mid to C crunch.
Fluffy Aimers are like, Silence, you can't do that again, right? And Infiltrator said, nah, it's my turn. But the satchel through the blindness, Mummy ripped down. Still sands control for Winthrop, and Fluffy Aimers, you know, just in case they were to have someone on that left corner, Winthrop will just make sure they're actually gone.
That was so nice. A big call coming through too, and a little bit late though from, you know, Mummy, because the amount of times you caught Neptune caught in that corner at Long C, they decide to insert Mummy this time around so that if that happens again, they could TP away. But he stuck that for so long and probably never expected that the showstopper made it in front of the Rolling Thunder that Pancakes shot out, which is why you saw here Infiltrator land in the front and get that kill towards the end. Couldn't react on time, but at least it gives an opportunity for Bones to answer back with his own showstopper here.
Oh, if Jonah were to get that kill, he'd have neural theft, and he also keeps an eye on B-Link door.
Left.
Meanwhile, Fluffy Aimers narrowly dodged the showstopper there out of Infiltrator, and Fluffy Aimers get hit by, well, actually 2 Nightfalls cross over, so everyone's hearing stuff. This is just Panic Simulator. Fluffy Aimers also have their trails indicated. A great 2K out of Pancakes,
10
keeps
seconds left.
Jerk, and a very tough position with the claw, and wow, he had time. He had time to get that.
Where is he going at this point? Is there a body that he could alter? It doesn't seem like it. He's just going to go back to the waterfall to keep Neptune looking towards spawn. He has a timing here.
Oh, you just did, Jerk. He's so good. The 1v2 clutch. Winthrop up to 4. When Fluffy Aimers, you thought they crossed their T's, they dotted the I's, they had the B door control, they got rid of the Infiltrator showstopper, they went in with Nightfall, and still didn't work out.
And when you thought on the previous round that those outlaw shots weren't hitting, you're happy that they're hitting this time around too. And unfortunately, the Vandals were the Vandals were the ones that were not hitting on the side of Fluffy Aimers. Look at that. That was 2 opportunities here where they had first shot against Jerk, and he still manages to come out of those individual 1v1s at full health, unscathed, no armor damaged. So that was actually quite nice. But everything that led to that, as you've mentioned here, there was some great ults on both ends, great counters, great reads that came up on the fly from these two teams. And you saw some great fundamentals coming out from Winthrop University on how they re-peeked out towards the C site. And from Winthrop, not only from Winthrop, but also from Fluffy Aimers. So I'm liking at least that we're really going back and forth within these rounds. And this is a much better Lotus play style from both of these teams.
Especially Winthrop. This is already more rounds than they won in the entirety of the last showing of Lotus against Fluffy Aimers, who have called a timeout after 4 unanswered rounds out of Winthrop. It's time to buy some real guns, the big boy guns. I wasn't talking about the Odin, but I mess with it if I'm Jerk. Maybe trying to pressure down. I thought it would have been some kind of A lobby shenanigans, but we'll see.
Yeah, at least for now, it's the fundamentals of trying to figure out if there's going to be early pressure coming out now towards the C site. So just making sure we're going to throw that haunt and try to get information on the A side and to realize that there's no pressure coming through on the defensive side for Winthrop. So they could take advantage of that and even post up infiltrate with the off. So that's one lane already covered up. So everybody could focus on the B to C. And with this breach being set up from the B side, this is going to be so much right now against Fluffy Aimers hit towards the C site.
Oh, little dance. Screwface still has his ankles intact. What? The random kill through the smoke, through the wall?
Ooh,
what
overview.
the heck is that? And Winthrop have shut down the C push, especially after Bones went in head first. That's the Odin doing work. It sucks at range though, but it's he's got a lot of bullets, and that was his whole point of just hoping to just outshoot Fluffy Aimers in that scramble.
Yeah, and that was the thing, right? It was It looked like it was a much lower buy that you had from Fluffy Aimers, but they come out with a pretty decent result towards the end. The trap play that was set up for Seaside was perfect, right? When Screwface swung out and got information and got some picks, it was perfect. But that second overheat that came out from Nasi right after, a punishment that came through, but at least the op's here, still here, and you're walking into it. They never accounted into that in the very first place. Now you TP back for C for a plant, but there's still silence around the corner.
Always lurking for the plant timing. Now that the smoke is up too, the fence is up. Mame 1v2 clutch potential with Infiltrator with the app, and that's not so fun in such a small site with Mame having a slight high ground. Hearing that boombot come from Waterfall with some info, and the paint shell forces Mame to react quickly, and Silence just had better aim.
If anything, he doesn't have he doesn't have a good rifle, but at least he has good util to flush out Mame on their 2 versus 1 and allows Winthrop to convert that round. Again, it could have been very costly towards the end for Winthrop because of that overheat towards that front B side. I understand you're really trying to get that trade out against Screwface, opening the door because he has information. They know they have weaker weapons. The crossfire is already set up from Jerk with this Odin, and you're trying to keep him alive towards that site. But that gave a huge opening for a potential convert, if not at least a plant for Fluffy Aimers to build the economy to still have another good rifle round this time around. And Winthrop University, they want to try to go for a Season 8, a fault line, something. 4 players on that side to cover the A site hit from Fluffy Aimers, something that they're reading that we don't know. But at least for Fluffy Aimers, when they hear all of this util, look at them pivot. They're now prioritizing, working very quickly towards this B site.
Winthrop has such good map control, especially of A lobby. They know when to give that up and play for retakes. It's been 5 unanswered rounds, and Odin through the front door. These paper walls can't handle it, and neither can Fluffy Aimers. Now hoping to defend this B site is going to be troublesome with Winthrop taking angles, with Infiltrator being so mechanically untouchable, it seems, against Pancakes. That's a bit of an ego challenge. Plus, he dropped off the edge, which might have messed up his aim, and Pancakes got crossed up. 2 targets in front of him, couldn't pick his favorite one. Everyone from Winthrop high-fiving on that kill, and their defense very solid.
Yeah. And it looked really good there for Winthrop University. The name of the game was just to try to play the retake the whole time, trying to read where the pressure was going to come from Fluffy Aimers from the get-go, right? Once they realized with 4 players coming out on that side that nobody was pressuring towards A, and he also gave the op, by the way, to Jerk on C side, and nothing was happening. And he kind of already knew that it was going to be a full site hit on B. And when you're playing on the way of Fluffy Aimers where, you know, you don't have any players splitting across the sites, then it makes it a lot harder for you to play post plant positions at baby door. So once again, I understand why they wanted to push towards the spawn to fight and catch some players off guard for Winthrop, especially when Jerk only has the op right there. But unfortunately, Jerk has the op and he still lands a kill. So that's going to be something that Fluffy Aimer is going to have to readapt now, as trying to use more util to gain that space. But if not, Winthrop are looking really good on this defensive side so far.
Oh my god, Fluffy Aimers gets to actually walk down A long. Well, with all that noise, at least they know where the real threat is on the other side of tree. So how would Fluffy Aimers try to dislodge that? Well, they got C's, they got Prowler, they got tools, they got options and time. And now that the smoke clears, okay, whew.
There.
Yeah, but they should know, right? There was a couple of ops. I mean, it never got taken down, so they have to go for a 3-2-1 swing or try to use another smoke once it gets refreshed. I mean, Mummy still has both. Looks like it seems Winthrop wants to take the upper hand instead.
Also just baiting out shots with the Prowler. Nasi is going to be bait, and more than that, he's lethal, but walked into the crossfire. And with the neural theft given there by Jonah, Winthrop nowhere, especially that op is Nightfalls, or just one Nightfall this time from the defense, causing a lot of panic in the Fluffy Aimers camp. Now over at the A side, the swing from Screwface, the Odin has time to pick up 2, and he's got a backup plan.
He's trying to keep his team alive.
Wait, these shots are getting crazy. Silence is having a great day too. Winthrop are having a great day, already getting some sweet revenge over Fluffy Aimers from the last time they faced on this map.
But what an insane play for Nasi to walk down all the way towards the entrance. He probably had the line covered at least towards the door with the up from Infiltrated because he never got smoked out. And then the tech that came out from Screwface, throwing out the Prowler to know that there's player towards Rubble, throwing a C's on top of that to be able to get assists to help Nasi get these kills. But then as he falls back to throw the Nightfall and then the Hawk to try to wallbang with the Odin. That is some Odin tech that you want from your Fade player to anchor towards the A side, and potentially why you're not seeing consistent switches between the Cypher and the Fade on this map.
Yeah, Winthrop. They got a lot of confidence in them. I'll give them that.
Spike
But
down, C.
can you blame them? They go for these crazy positions and... Okay, now the numbers are a little bit more equal. I'll hold my breath real quick. Good dodge on Reach Flash as Jonah. Okay, second dodge. Now a little bit more flashed. And now he's got a Rolling Thunder in his face. What am I saying? Winthrop truly believe they can beat anyone. And in this isolated one... Well, it was isolated. Screwface is like, all right, kids, break it up.
I was going to underline the hell if it was going to run behind the Rolling Thunder on top of that, but it was just great stall in the end to allow Screwface to move over and help out for them to convert that round. I mean, look at it. Ever since they got the gun round, it's been Winthrop all along. 8 rounds in a row. They wanted to fight towards the mound. I totally understand all of that as well. They're playing against a lower buy from Fluffy Aimers, and they also have had great control of mound throughout the whole defensive half when they had these weapons to work with. Currently stacking in the right places, finding the correct moments, and also having great retakes on top of that. I mean, can't really ask for more here at this point where... I mean, I love this pivot already. The early information you're trying to get from Jerk. Odin once again, but this time in his hands. So Screwface gave it to him so he could try to spray across all the util that's being used by Fluffy Aimers for these ults.
Sure, that showstopper whistle on by, but Fluffy Aimers also heard the whistle, or more, I wouldn't describe it as a whistle, of the Odin being pretty loud and proud at the other side of that side. But still gonna decide to hold their half. Look, okay, that was a Nightfall from Neptune to catch the flank, I think, and Winthrop just going out with a cough on this one. Finally a round that Fluffy Aimers have a strong advantage in.
Yeah, and that was them trying to use these ults for the retake on the flank.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Ends up being a great crossfire setup in the end for Fluffy Aimers. So that extra trip that was set behind, and then finally here in the Boombot was a trap play behind that too. I think the Boombot also initiated the fault line from Pancakes to allow for I keep saying FAIM every single time I see this on the top of the scoreboard, but for Fluffy Aimers to be able to capitalize on not allowing Winthrop to flank from behind. So one of those rare moments so far where Winthrop University has been sort of figured out here on the Pulse plant, but it took a lot of ults out of Fluffy Aimers to be able to convert that round. But you'll take it, right? You were trailing behind 8-2. Now you have an opportunity to close the half with at least one more.
Okay. Bye, Jonah. Thanks for playing. He's like, okay, guys, they all pushed B. Y'all can just push the site now. Fluffy Aimers already ahead of him on that one.
Spike planted.
So a quick plant at A with Winthrop around the corner, but Jerk on the other side of the map with an op, so Winthrop can just play reactionary at this point until he gets there.
They invested so many ops at the beginning of this round, too, to try to hold the line against their opponents. I mean, Jerk just got it on the C side after this weapon was dropped by Screwface. Here's a retake.
Jerk was even fully there. He was, like, rounding the corner and got that pick, but as Winthrop went to the site, it just walked into a trap. But it's 3 for Neptune, by the way. Holy cow. It's up to Pancakes and Mummy to just close this out in the 2v1. And Screwface just tried to wallbang on the other side of the box, revealed his position, so that didn't work out. But hey, big round for Fluffy Aimers.
That was like 2 ops that they had, rifles on top of that, and then you were just trying to see if Fluffy Aimers were going to overextend after the pulse plant, and it took way too long until they finally decided, oh, these guys are not going to push us towards spawn. We can't really punish them. And then when you're trying to retake the site with not too much time left, that's when the mistakes start happening, and that's how you got caught off here by Fluffy Aimers with 3 players inside the site just mowing you down. So as it had a great start for Winthrop University here on the defensive half, Fluffy Aimers was at least able to find some sort of footing here at the tail end of that half. But now you have them on the attack side for Winthrop. they might have a chance here to continue to take control of this side, where you'll get early information, at least for Fluffy Gamers, with this haunt being thrown out. And the information that there's nobody running behind that. But you also saw the haunt being thrown on the attack side. So that might give them a tell here that they might go for some sort of late mid, or sorry, A to B split, right? And then now everybody gets hit by a Nightfall because nobody's going to see anything here. So we continue.
I thought I was casting with my eyes closed. Everything was black. Turns out the back of my eyes don't have an overlay, so
it was going to be a radio cast, as I like to do back in the day. But at least as we have the state of the game when that pistol round started, haunts on both ends. They have information on the A side here for Winthrop, and also for Fluffy Aimers, and cages were being thrown on that A side. So you definitely saw at the beginning the default, the attack was trying to come out here from this side of the attack to control Rubble and try to get that orb at the beginning. There's a lot of players on the defense though towards that B site.
And hopefully the game is paused, but what happens is a secret. Oh, I tried to have my head. I tried to have my head covering the last
free
part.
Sponsorship.
So
free sponsorship.
It's so scum.
Mind you, we'll get that sorted as soon as we can here, because it looks like we're trying to get our observers back into the server. And actually, as we come back into the game, there is actually the pistol round already done, so that means here that Winthrop University converted into that pistol round. So again, we talked about that pressure that we're holding out towards that Rubble side, and they moved fairly quickly, because once we got into the server, it's already 9-4. Then you know that it was an all-out pop here towards the A site, and unfortunately, not in the favor of wait.
I think it was Fluffy, because I think I wrote a 9-3 half for Winthrop, and math tells me something.
But they have guns now, so
I don't know.
Yeah, this round should have gone to Winthrop.
It was a secret lab. It was a secret lab moment.
It was an 8-4 half. I do remember it was an 8-4 half at this moment.
You're right.
So Infiltrator now gets the first pick. So you're trying to make a play. At least if inserted Mummy towards the other side of the wall here with the classic. I don't know if it's gonna get cleared, but Screwface just threw a haunt, so it should.
Well, you went for the one and done, some classic right-click action. I think that's what he had. Either way. Well, just let him have it. Let him have the site. But Neptune don't wanna. He's got Jonah to support him, and also Pancakes who can come through B door if he wishes, but also in a fault line position.
Yeah, in a fault line position to help her from B side. This is basically what Winthrop was doing in the first place. And it's all going to be on a high-low contact. But satchels that would come across would kind of just slow down everything. It does work, though. Double stun.
Jeez. Just need one gun to rule them all, but no. Fluffy Aimers, they had a plan. There's just more guns on the other side, that's all.
Yeah, one of those moments you wish you had like a frenzy, or at least your right-click classic would actually hit this time around, because you've actually seized a couple of players to get decayed on top of that. Oh my god, that was just the waste that was showing there on that pick. That was beautiful by Infiltrator. But right here, you're hoping right-clicks to hit, because people that are getting seized there do get decayed on top of that, so that's HP gone. But unfortunately, doesn't pan out. Nice attempt of a trap play from Fluffy Aimers that still comes out in the favor of Winthrop University because of the weapons. And now we'll finally see the gun round, and at least for Fluffy Aimers, they know the Outlaws out early.
Oh my god. Bro's flying, and Bones still lives? And he's still on mound. It's just one nasty smoke breaking things up, and it wasn't on the side that Silex was trying to cross on. Could have teleported. Unfortunate, but fortunate for Bones. And the friends from Fluffy Aimers converting that, giving themselves the man advantage. They 2-2 split. Half on mound, half at A. The Cypher stuff between B2. Winthrop will discover that in a second.
They'll just break the trip to move in for a plant. Two players towards the mound, and you see Screwface trying to hold them back. And at least that's information. It's just try to get the plant down, try to get the economy up. I'm surprised that Jerk is the one that's planning it, though, but I do understand because Nasi has the Phantom, and he's trying to get some more map control with that and trying to catch some players off guard. But that said, at least they get the plant down, economy for the next round, and maybe some sort of position so that they could work behind this fault line. Nope.
Well, look how the turns have tabled. 10-4, by the way, for Winthrop. When it was 13-3 for Fluffy Aimers last time, and what did I say? It's simply a comp differential. Or last time Winthrop had what? A Killjoy, Solo Gecko, and now that they're playing more standard, it's just easier for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, both of these comps that they're pulling out here for Winthrop still has their pros and cons going into this.
Sure.
As you're looking at Winthrop, yeah, you could definitely pop a lot better than as usual. But at least when you're looking at how you're playing the post plans at this point, you don't have those nanos to throw on top. So what do you have to do? You have to be a little bit more proactive, and you're trying to stun to get more map control on top of that too in these post plans, which is something that Winthrop is still doing quite well. And just to say is it's a great way for them to adapt from the thrashing, at least, that they received from Fluffy Aimers the last time, right? At the 13-3 scoreline that they lost. But at this point, in this mirror matchup, you're definitely seeing that there's more comfort, at least from Winthrop University, on this map.
Infiltrator, go kill. That's the game plan. Big showstopper, big kills, big plays. Fluffy Aimers. Do they know it's coming? Neptune's stuck on the site. Got reinforcements behind him. Prowler will find him. Showstopper to follow. Goodbye, Neptune. And whoa, who's sitting out top there? But Jonah does get a kill. The paint shell will deal with that. And Infiltrator knows there's more on the corner. And he's having such an incredible performance for Winthrop in this match. The plant goes down. Mummy in a 1v3. We hyped him up for a reason, Vance.
Yeah. He's got the paranoia to work with, but at least to start things off, he's hoping that somebody's going to push out first, or if he could catch somebody by moving down silently. Because at this point, you have the element of surprise, and you don't want to give that away.
Planted for tree. It must be in tree. Paranoia. The satchel almost messed up his aim. But Mummy's just that good. What? That turn. He gets money all right. He earns that paycheck. 1v3 for Mummy.
And that's why you want somebody like Mummy in your team. With the experience that you have, understanding how he could play around the map. It doesn't matter if he doesn't play Jet or Raze anymore, a role that he wanted to play in the past. Look at how he plays that paranoia beautifully. Again, element of surprise, knowing that there's going to be at least one player towards tree, knowing that it's a high-low out in the open, maybe not a high-low, but knowing that it's going to be played out in the open to hit that flash and then to tap for the flank from behind because he cleared the whole site at the very beginning. What a play by Mummy at this point to keep Fluffy Aimers in this fight, especially with its momentum.
Oh, you saw Winthrop just satchel the rubble. Fluffy Aimers gonna respect that. Infiltrator in tree. Prowler to check out Baby Door and the B site, and even all the way at the back. Got Paranoia through the A corner, so Winthrop can focus their forces at the front, climbing the rope. Those tough timing as Neptune gonna get his revenge, dropping down onto the site with pancakes and some util to work with, trying to win this duel against Nasi on the other side, and Screwface is on the flank. What's he doing back here? And now he's got an upgraded weapon too. Fluffy Aimers are just tunneled into the site, and Neptune, he got 3. Mummy has to get off the spike, and he's just that good. Fluffy Aimers are closing the gap.
Not your day,
And at least decent there for Winthrop University on a half buy to get a plant, get the economy up, get those ult orbs up. But yes, definitely Mummy stepping up to the plate. The last 2 rounds and hitting home runs, allowing Fluffy Aimers to get 3 defuses in a row. And an opportunity to buy themselves here. A huge string round for both of these teams. As you see, the economy is quite low after these buys. A little bit more in favor of Fluffy Aimers, though, with the amount of defuses that they've gotten. But these are going to be some important ultimates that you want to put in the eyes of Nasi and Bones, respectively, at this point. As Winthrop University looking to a similar play as it did on Pistol Round. The same haunt, moving out with the camera and cage and crossing over towards Rubble. But will they want to try to act? Oh yeah, they're going to Rolling Thunder through this.
See,
cage triggered.
you're right. Prowler out. Boombot on the same angle. Jonah.
Oh no.
Oh, he's got the line up. Infiltrator down and the cage back up to cover his trail. Gonna readjust to a different angle. And Jonah caught by the Rolling Thunder, but will Winthrop punish him mid-time? He's gonna swing off the Rolling Thunder. He's still stunned. But Winthrop still got out ahead in that engagement. 2v2. Pancakes also one away from the Rolling Thunder himself. Bit of a flank too from Winthrop, but the spike is on A, so that's interesting.
I'm gonna fall back and they got a TP with it too, so they're gonna plant for the C side. Already fluffy aimers are rotating out towards the spawn. This would probably be a plant for main as well. But I love here that Jerk's pushed out towards the spawn. So they're not allowing here fluffy aimers to really set up. The only big thing that Pancakes has is a fault line for them to try to move quickly. But it's too late. Winthrop now could play the pulse plan outside from Mound. No smokes to cover the spike. They're in a great spot now.
Fluffy aimers have made their way in. Have cleared the site. Know that they must be stands in the satchel bones. But Silence had his teammates back, and he's had so many multi-kills. This is why Silence earned his place on this roster.
Especially with that too. You saw him like turn away from a 90-degree angle. He thought that potentially Pancakes had one more flash and was just getting ready to flick back and forth. And despite this looking like a interesting kill here that you got at the beginning from Jonah, I think the reasoning behind not using the showstopper, or sorry, the Rolling Thunder at the get-go was just to try to cancel out and be proactive against the showstopper retake that Bones had at the ready. But that caught him off guard. The pick that Jonah got already initiated the Rolling Thunder right after for them to try to get at least some sort of a plant, and you saw what happened towards the end. They were forced to move towards the seaside, and at least Silence is there for these kills. And now FAIM setting up now with a solo anchor hold of Jonah inside the site, who's going to get spotted out by the Nightfall.
At least Jonah already escaped by then. Get out of jail free card. He's on the other side of this door, and Infiltrator manages to get up the rope too in time. So Fluffy aimers behind them now as Winthrop can exchange positions, but Jerk loses that to Pancakes, but he pivoted from C to A with that outlaw and it worked out for at least one kill. 4 versus 3 on the post play in favor of Winthrop.
That's no Nightfall for Neptune, so it's going to make it harder for them to retake the site. I might save if I'm Fluffy aimers at this point.
They don't want to let Winthrop go to match point, though, and Pancake says it's winnable, boys! And leaving Infiltrator 1v2. If anyone can do it, it's him, but Mame will stick the defuse, and Bones will stick him underground.
I guess the story could be different when Pancake kills 2 people with an aftershock when they had numbers advantage for Winthrop University. So getting caught out of position, or maybe in the right position at least, for Fluffy aimers, and they're not really set up there to hold the pulse plan. I think after that initial flank that you saw coming through with the Outlaw getting rid of that Nightfall, and that was a flank I think from Screwface once again this time around with the Outlaw. They probably expected here the tree hit to happen, and they want to tuck in just behind the ruins, and unfortunately was not ready for Pancakes this time, who had utility that was available and at the ready for them to retake. So room to breathe for Fluffy aimers. An eco coming out for Winthrop University. We're trying to move really quickly for a plan inside this B site.
Infiltrator got smoked by Util before he even satcheled in. He just had to commit. And then Winthrop get smoked off from him, so no follow-up. Neural theft for the attack as Shirts try to make up for that loss, figuring out what is plan B. Well, that ult will tell you. No one's at A.
If they're still moving there, and it's taken a long time to rotate across. I don't think that timing is going to work in their favor. Oh, wait, it will. It will.
So a lot of why did Jonah turn in time? It's so delayed. It's fine. Yeah, the timing worked out for Winthrop. And now 2v2 with the spike down. Jerk and Screwface. I like the crossfire they're setting up because you know someone's going to be sitting in a staircase watching this.
Perfect bait, though, allowing the backstab to happen from Screwface with this Guardian that he just picked up. Closing the gap.
Last player standing. standing.
Someone's
One enemy
face is
remaining.
gonna be in trouble. No, okay, Neptune helping out Fluffy Aimers and deny that match point from Winthrop.
We were just hoping for Screwface to tell his teammate to wait just a split second more because he had the timing just around the corner. He heard the extra footstep too, and then you just saw the swing coming out from Bones just force the second player to fall back towards the tree and watch that angle and allowing Neptune to react just on time to win that 1v1. It could have been a thrifty in favor of Winthrop that could have closed that first map here because Fluffy Aimers were going to be broke pretty much at that point. And now it comes down to these final moments. Pulse to ults once again, both of these teams. And going to the same type of conditioning this time around with the aggression, with the util that they have towards the A site. But look at this proactiveness coming out from Fluffy Aimers. Already opening door, clearing out towards long B.
Mummy heard at least 3 guns though, so that's like pretty good information. And he got to keep his life.
Yeah, and because of the door opening to and prowling towards front B, they know that they can't hit on a mid to be split. Unless they go with the showstopper.
No, there's 3 people in there and there's 0 kills from that showstopper. Are we serious?
No.
Talk about threading the needle with the flash!
Oh no.
Infiltrator's the unluckiest person I have ever seen.
Spike down
It's
A.
just the running out of bullets, the pistol whip, like jeez.
One enemy
4v2.
remaining.
Winthrop slip up when they
Got the
needed
spike.
to clutch the most. Nasi at least has the spike.
It could plant. It could plant at least, but they're playing it safe now for Fluffy Aimers. I like it. Taking a numbers advantage, working as a group. They have a cage of smoke. Working in a buddy system on the staircase. Perfect. But yeah, it definitely got chaotic towards that baby door. And again, after Fluffy Aimers did their due diligence to clear out towards that front B side, Winthrop University had no other opportunities to not face any opposition except for hitting the A site unless they wanted to brute force back into baby door and fight back towards B. And it almost worked out. Great utilities once again. A chess battle that went from utility just like the ult round like 10 rounds ago. That was so sick right now from both of these teams, and unfortunately came out in favor of Fluffy Aimers, who are now 1 round away of tying up this game. So both teams showing some very strong defensive sided halves. And Fluffy Aimers at the brink of tying it up because they have the stronger weaponry.
And this was an 8-2 start for Winthrop, and at risk of choking that lead, but Silence will land with mild support, not very spicy support, so Bones will get a free kill while he's planning. First blood for Fluffy Aimers, and they want more than that. Infiltrator stuck
One enemy
between
remaining.
a rock and a hard place, or at least 2 people with guns. And Fluffy Aimers looking like an easy round.
Yeah, that'll be a defuse and a tied game. And again, yeah, it looked crazy that he just ran in for a plant. But you want to bring that economy in your favor, at least just bring that plant down and try to figure it out towards the end. And hoping that you get a better timing against your opponents with the satchels that came through already from the Bucky from Winthrop. And at least with this timeout, I was going to say, like, there's a silver lining at least that you forced out a very early Rolling Thunder from Pancakes at round number 22, when now you have your own Rolling Thunder on the attack side. You remember last time when they tried to do this towards the A side, they wanted to try to save it to counter a different ult. I don't think that Fluffy Aimers has one in the bank right now. So this is a great opportunity for them to tempo really quick like they wanted to, and maybe use that to their advantage and maybe get map point in this situation.
First time out for Winthrop too. Through all of this, they've just believed in plan A, and they still looked very locked in. Screwface is almost ready for a nap. Like, and Silence and Infiltrator, we've already highlighted their performance of almost dropping 20 kills each. So how do you close out the game? You decide here and now.
And we'll see where they're going to set up here on this round number 23 on the attack for Winthrop University. So not necessarily grouping up yet. They're going to default the round, so they're going to use the same type of almost same condition. There's only going to be a cage and camera up on this A side, no haunt being thrown. So they're trying to find the information of where Fluffy Aimers are probably working this raise.
Where are you?
They'll soon find out here. It's towards this A side, and maybe that might call the pivot to Rolling Thunder towards the C site.
Like, Fluffy Aimers don't even have to play side. Like, they got a camera in the corner, they'll see the entry, and they can just play for retakes. They also don't have B control, so that's where Neptune is going to step up and maybe give them a pincer option if needed.
They're just trying to break Cypher util first. There's the trying to find that camera. There it is. It gets pinged out.
Cage trigger.
But Infiltrator stays alive.
Yeah, and Fluffy Aimers tried to shoot through the smoke as a reaction of shooting that camera, but couldn't find contact.
And they never broke it. So right now, for them to try to re-hit towards that C site, I mean, they pinged it out, so they might be aware of that if they want to re-hit it, but that surprise factor is already gone. So I think the pivot back with the Rolling Thunder with the remaining seconds is going to have to be committed towards the A site. So it's being jump spotted by Bones, and he's all alone. It's going to be even harder for Fluffy Aimers to retake to at least try to prevent the plant. So it's going to have to be the retake play now for the defensive side.
Winthrop, no, they have a window of opportunity to catch Bones isolated, and he's going to play this corner and at least try to take one with them. And the teleport, the bait, Fluffy Aimers got them confused. Winthrop will pivot to B and plant, but Fluffy Aimers are already there, and the backstab from Bones almost got away with a fourth as Nasi picks up two. We're left in a 2v2, and Nasi is a menace. And Pancakes has to give him the pain, and he does, and clutches for Fluffy Aimers to put him on match point.
Oh, you're going to have to hate yourself. Well, not yourself, but just hate the situation for Nasi, where I was like, where's the Rolling Thunder? Why is it not happening? His teammates are getting flanked, yet he does the hero play to get a trip kill and leave it on a 1v1, carrying his team in that round to hopefully allow Jerk to win a 1v1 against the top fragger of Fluffy Aimers being Pancakes. And unfortunately, it has not been the case, where the Rolling Thunder maybe could have given him that space that he needed. But that util was just so good for Fluffy Aimers. That paranoia, that blinded too, that was really sick going through there for Fluffy Aimers. But now you have an opportunity for an overtime.
Yeah. 3 ults to 1 with also Neptune and Bones 1 away. So this is going to be a big fight for that orb. Prowler for Fluffy Aimers with Mame getting first blood off of peeking with the op at Mount.
And first op. Never saw that coming. And that's Mame with an op that you got to be afraid of.
No orb grab from Fluffy Aimers, I'm seeing. So just hoping for a kill for this neural theft. But you got the Nightfall from Winthrop, hoping to just sneak up onto Jonah. No, he's ready. Big kill for him. Mame too, off the waterfall cross. Like, Winthrop don't have their smokes in place, and they're running into the sidelines. Speaking of running in, Bones breaks in, showstopper to give Fluffy Aimers the win.
That is so tough there for Winthrop University. Such a strong lead that you had there on the first half, yet let that slip, and for Fluffy Aimers to win that first map in the end. And yeah, it looked like they had no smokes because he already died in the beginning. That's Mame coming out with the up. They weren't ready for that. He gets picked off, and yet you have to try to use 2 ults to try to cover the site and try to take over that area. But I mean, Mame with a knock, what could you really do? Man's already standing up and putting his steps in to get ready for the second map.
And after Fluffy lost the pistols, which we figured out it was Winthrop that won pistols in the second half, for Fluffy to shut down the momentum and to pick all of that up to turn down that deficit. Incredible. Fluffy Aimers will not have to go for revenge. They'll take another win on Lotus, I believe it was.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, they won last time. 13-3 too, but this time a little closer. We'll see how close our next map will be because it's the same map set, Sunset and Ascent. We'll see you after the break.